Video. In today's video, we're talking about doing AI and SEO combined. Now, I've mentioned in a couple of previous videos about how Splashdsh works, but basically on the left side, you can see I have a couple of different integrations connected to my AI account that are going to allow me to do different actions based on the features. So you can see you have search, you have domain, you have keywords, you have the ability to gather backlinks, demographics, page insights, research, community, and SEO. Each one of these actions have a predefined amount of things that you can do with them. So for example, if I wanted to go ahead and gather an SEO overview of DevelopMark, which is my domain, I can do so. And what that's going to do is it's going to run a quote unquote action. It's going to talk to our code base, which is Splashdsh, and then it's going to return that result and credit where it got that data from a tool like SEMrush. So as you can imagine, this has really changed the way that we do SEO on a daily basis and do digital marketing just in general. Because now I have all of this data incorporated into one place for our team's usage. Now, just a quick heads up, this is not a native ChatGPT feature. And if you want to get on the waitlist for when this tool is released, you can go to splashdsh.ai and then you can click on get on waitlist. And what this is going to allow you to do is that when the tool is ready, it's going to allow you to actually get access to it without having to update or get any of the accounts that we have integrations with, which you can see all of them down here. Anyways, let's get to the content. So let's go ahead and start a new conversation with Splashdsh. And my goal with this is to kind of show you the workflow, an example of a workflow that we use in today's world, in the world of artificial engine optimization, or known as AIO, which is AI engine optimization. So let's say we were working with a plumbing company in Southington, and let's say their name was Marinho Plumbing, this business right here. Inside of Splashdsh, when I start a conversation, I can actually go ahead and click the app button and get access to a ton of the different integrations that are available. So let's say I wanted to use the search function and I wanted to get map data of this brand. And the reason for that is because I want to get map data of this brand because I want to add it is in contextual format into my conversation so that I can generate better results in the near future. So what that's going to do is that API is going to talk to DevelopMark's or Splashdash's code base, and it's going to return the Google Business Profile data directly inside of Splashdsh. What's cool about this is you can do this in bulk. So let's say we were working with multiple clients, or let's say you were doing sales, or let's say you were doing outreach, let's say you were doing list building, whatever it is that you're looking to accomplish. AI and Splashdsh are a really great way to accomplish this. So let's take a look at the data. We have Marinho Plumbing, which is the name, 17 reviews, they're a plumber, this is their address, 3 years in business, the phone, links, etc. Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and grab their domain, and I want to add a different API, and let's say this one is page insights. So now what I want to do is I want to gather website contents from this URL. What that's going to allow us to do, if it works, sometimes older sites this won't work with, but basically what Splashdsh is going to do is it's going to analyze this URL, scan the page, and GPT natively might be able to do this with some URLs. We find higher success with our API. So what it's going to do when it does that is it's going to go ahead and scan that page and then provide us with what this business does, who it is, etc. So I can continue to build a profile around this so that when I go ahead and start prompting a little bit more advanced things, it's going to have a lot of context of what this domain, what this business profile is. So let's take a step back. We've gone ahead and gathered the maps information. Now we have the business information literally within 2 prompts, which is really great, which means all of this information is contextual now. So anything that I do inside of Splashdsh at this point is going to really know a lot of information about this brand. So that's kind of where we're going to start. Now what I'm going to do is, if I was working with this client, I may want to target some of the keywords that they might be trying to rank for. So just based on this, I can go ahead and ask Splashdsh to say, based on this URL, what keywords should we target, let's say for SEO and marketing? What that's going to do is it's going to read the URL and it's going to give you a couple of suggested keyword phrases that we should target based on this information. And the way that it's doing that is because it already read the URL, it is going ahead and actually gathering what it thinks is going to be good for us to target. Now, because there's a location modifier with a lot of these terms, a lot of these keywords probably don't have much volume. And that's okay. When you're working with local, a lot of the terms don't have a lot of volume, but these could be really good for PPC, let's say. We could throw these into a PPC campaign and send traffic directly to the website, etc. But let's focus on, let's say, sump pump or residential plumbing. So if I wanted to, I can go ahead and remove the Southington CT from this. Let's say remove Southington CT from these and just get a list of clean keywords that are generally people are going to type and rank for. So if I copy all of them and I call on the keywords tool, I can now do keyword research. I can now ask it to perform keyword research with the keywords API, which is basically going to put in these keywords as exact as you can see. And it's going to run that through another SEO tool. And that SEO tool is going to give me keyword research volumes, competition, and then it's even going to listen to how I want the data formatted, which in this case, it's organized from highest to lowest, only include term, volume, CPC, and competition. So let's take a look at the data. So here we have keyword research that's been done, which looks awesome, by the way. It's a great little table and it looks very visually appealing. We can see that plumbing services is actually the term that has the most volume for this website. Yet when I go to the website and I look at this website's SEO, so let's say I went to its title, you can see that they're targeting local plumber in Southington, Connecticut, which isn't a bad term at all. But if I were advising this client, if I was doing advanced SEO for this client and trying to make them thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to their website, I would probably tell them to target plumbing services based on this data. Now, of course, that can change. If plumber is higher, which maybe it is, you can see best plumbers there, then I would probably recommend that. So now that I have these keywords, I can start to really think about the SEO structure of the site, what I'm really going to focus on, and of course, I can continue to add to these keywords if I really wanted to. For example, if I said, okay, plumbing services looks great. Now I can do find related terms to plumbing services that would be good to target, right, to generate plumbing leads. Now what this is going to do is it's going to run another action with keywords, and that's going to basically tell me, you can see, it's going to query plumbing services. This is just like you logging into a tool and typing in plumbing services, typing in related, and getting it back 10 keywords. So I'm going to click confirm. And what this is going to do is it's going to give me a couple of different related plumbing keywords that make a little bit of sense to my client. So in this case, you can see that plumbing services near me is the clear winner, 24-hour plumbing service near me, emergency plumbing, etc. And I could do that one by one as I'm building out my content for all of my pages. So if I were to work with this client and I were to, let's say, work on their residential plumbing page, I would make sure that this URL has mention of all of those keywords. And I can easily go back into Splashdash's, go back to Page Insights, analyze this page contents for the keywords you just gathered. And now what I can do is really quickly, I can audit that content to basically scan this URL. And it's cool because it's not just the root domain, it's actually the path of the URL that we're working on. So I can scan that page for this URL and I can ask ChatGPT in a contextual format how well it's doing for these keywords and how much time it's mentioned. So this is really cool because now it's telling me that it's not present in the content. It's actually the ones that are present in the content are there. So if I go to the page and I type in emergency plumbing, you can see that that's available there. You can see that plumbing repair is there. So if I go in here and I type in plumbing repair, that's there. If I type in plumbing repair service near me, residential plumbing, that should be there. So if I go here and I type in residential plumbing, that is in there. And so instead, what I can do is I can actually ask it to rewrite the page contents to include the keywords, bold the keywords, So I can say rewrite the page contents to include the keywords. When ChatGPT responds, I want to see the keywords bolded. I want ChatGPT to write in a style that makes sense for this brand. And I want it to include their custom business information, including call to actions. So once I do that, I'm not really going to need page insights, so I can X out of that. So now what it's going to do is it's going to take the content from that URL, it's going to rewrite it. But in this time, it's going to rewrite it to make sure that there is these other keywords mentioned inside of the text. And now that information is there, I can actually write up, let's say, a basic email to the client. So in the form of the short email, get the client to approve this new text and explain So now I can actually get an email written. So our role as a marketing manager, the task in the form of a short email, get the client to approve this new text and explain with data your reasoning behind the rewrite. So we're going page by page on this client's website, gathering your information contextually with AI, using their business information to make sure that we have all the clear stuff. And then we're taking that text that's already on their existing pages, like this one, rewriting it to include the keywords that we know are really important for SEO. And then what we're doing is we're adding reasoning by making sure we're telling the customer what to change on which page and why. So let's include the rewrite. In a perfect world, you would put this in a Google Doc, or you would probably just put it on their website if you're like DevelopMark. And then the reasoning behind the rewrite, it's going to tell them exactly the reasoning behind the rewrite, which is amazing. So the obvious reason is increased search volume. High volume keywords like plumber near me, 24-hour plumbing services, etc. Those have all been created inside of your contents. So that's there. And then obviously, if I was working with this client personally, with some of the advanced SEO stuff that we do this at scale. But basically, I would take this information and share it with them so they have a clear understanding of what it is that we're working on. Now, keep in mind, this took me 2 minutes. And because I'm doing a video, it actually probably could have taken me even less time. But I did it through here just because I want to show you how amazing it is when you combine AI and SEO and do AIO, artificial intelligence engine optimization. So now let's take it a step further. If I was working with a content team, which DevelopMark does, I would then take this content that was written and I would tag originality. And originality is a really great tool that you may have heard of. But basically what it does is it allows you to basically gather So taking this a step further, if you're working with a content team like I do, what I would do then is I would take this text and then I would actually just go ahead and click on this little reply button and I would tag a really useful tool called originality. And what this is going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to scan this content for AI and originality and then provide recommendations to help it rank on Google, let's say. Now, of course, guys, remember, the prompt is always whatever you want it to be. That's the beauty of generative AI, is that there's unlimited ways of how you can talk to these different data points. I'm just here to facilitate them for you. So you can see this is the text that it's going to scan, and I'm going to click confirm. What that's going to do is it's going to call on our originality account, which remember, you don't need access to it if you're in Splashdashed. But basically, it's going to scan that code. It's going to tell me how much of the content seems like it's AI, how much of the content is readable, and then it's going to provide me with recommendations that I can forward over to a marketing team or a content team or somebody on Fiverr or somebody on Upwork or a professional writer to just give it some of that human sauce to make sure that it can rank on Google. And you want to go page by page in your articles to do this, because with Google's new update, the SGE, Search Generative Experience, a lot of it, keyword, is experience. If your content doesn't have experience, and if it's just SEO text and AI text, it's likely not going to rank at the top of the search results. So it looks like it was going ahead and just couldn't read that. But generally speaking, what would happen is it would return to you what the originality update would look like. So you can see once the report is ready that there was a 100% detection of AI. You would ideally want to use this to lower that detection score and make it less AI with using personal anecdotes and all of the different optimization tactics that you can use to make it less AI. So plagiarism, it's good. ChatGPT doesn't plagiarize, which is great. And then, of course, there's a couple of other data points that you can read too, like readability and stuff like that. But ultimately, you want to pass this over to a writer who's going to be able to lower the confidence score of the AI. And then, of course, be able to make this higher ranking content on the search results. So once I'm done, I would take that and I would basically do an update to a page that looks like this and just make sure that this page ranks well for all the different keyword phrases that we want to target. The beauty of this is as well is that you can actually use this to create a sales pitch to the client. So because I have all of this data contextually in that format, I can go ahead and send this client an email, and then we'll also just do prospecting if that's something that I was looking to do. But you take a look at things like this with all the keywords on the left side, I would, and just by looking at this information, I would just call on, let's say, SpyFu, or I'm sorry, keywords, which is looking at this data, I would call on keywords, perform an analysis, right? And then I would do this kind of workflow one by one by one by one. And this is the advanced level of SEO that you want to start doing in today's AI world. And of course, when you tell a client this kind of information, of course, it's going to sound really nice to them because it's going to show them that you're on top of it. And there's so much work to be done if they want to generate more business through the internet, which is what we're accomplishing here. So other than that, go bananas with this. This is definitely something that you can do at an extensive level. I just want to show you the tools and research that we've done to actually get this to be possible and what we do with advanced SEO clients. Taking a page design, scanning it to find the keywords it could be ranking for, updating that website page design to give it a good design, making sure that you're not just pumping out AI content and you're analyzing and updating some of the pages with human experience, and then taking that and ideally ranking at the top of the search results for a lot of the keywords that people are going to be looking for so that they fill in this contact request. So I wanted to thank you guys for this watching this video today, and I'll see you in the next one.